In this video, TPM will be presenting a brief overview of 3DEXPERIENCE Data Management and PLM. My name is Scott Casali. I'm a Technical Solutions Consultant with TPM. 3DEXPERIENCE is a cloud-based product lifecycle management software developed with collaboration in mind. More specifically, 3DEXPERIENCE is an all-in-one concept to product environment that scales to the needs of you or your organization, whether you are a single person or a full team. 3DEXPERIENCE offers full capabilities for collaboration, data, and lifecycle management. I'll be presenting a brief overview of collaborative data management using 3DEXPERIENCE. We'll take a look at organizing and storing your data, share and markup functionality, and lifecycle and revision management. Let's talk about your data in 3DEXPERIENCE organizational storage. All files saved from SOLIDWORKS to 3DEXPERIENCE are stored in what is called a collaborative space. A collaborative space is not a folder. Instead, it is a singular repository used for controlling who has access to the content within it. Collaborative spaces are managed using the 3DSpace app. It's recommended that collaborative spaces are only created when specific access control to content is required. The default 3DEXPERIENCE setup comes pre-configured with one collaborative space named Common Space. For a smaller organization, the Common Space collaborative space can be used right away as the default repository for content. All users are added to this common space by default. Collaborative spaces are created using the 3DSpace app on the Content tab of the Collaborative Designer for SOLIDWORKS role dashboard. The importance of access is controlled by the visibility of the collaborative space. Let's discuss the differences in visibility. The private state content is only visible to members of the collaborative space. It is recommended for projects where the design content needs to be restricted to only the people working on it. The protected state visibility is such. Only content in the released and obsolete maturity states will be visible to all platform users within the company. It's recommended for standard parts and libraries. In public state content is content that has company-wide visibility for content to all users regardless of maturity state. When creating a new collaborative space, select the family option Design for all collaborative spaces that will contain SOLIDWORKS and content creating using the other available CAD connector roles. It's important to understand collaborative spaces are not intended to act as folders, and the content contained within a collaborative space is stored in a flat structure. After creating a new collaborative space, users will need to be added to be able to access it. Each user is given a collaborative space role. The four main collaborative space roles are contributor, author, leader, and owner. We will discuss these roles a little later in the presentation. It is recommended that creating user groups and assigning the groups to a collaborative space is a best practice when working with multiple design teams and projects. As collaborative spaces are a flat storage structure more intended for a project and/or team access control, bookmarks offer a more familiar method of organizing SOLIDWORKS design content. Bookmarks behave in a similar manner to Windows File Explorer folders. Bookmarks are created and accessed using the Bookmarks Editor app. Bookmarks are linked to the collaborative space they are created in. Inside of SOLIDWORKS, parts, assemblies, or drawings can be added to a bookmark when saving it to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. And files can be opened in SOLIDWORKS directly from a bookmark, similar to the way a user would have previously done using folders. After creating a new collaborative space, and before saving any SOLIDWORKS content, it is important to ensure that the SOLIDWORKS session is connected to the desired collaborative space. Storage of SOLIDWORKS content on the desktop is similar to Windows. New content, when integrated with the platform identifier folder, is temporarily held until the data is saved to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. Another storage option available when implementing the 3DEXPERIENCE platform is 3D Drive. 3D Drive is a desktop storage app that connects to 3DEXPERIENCE. Many users are familiar with Microsoft's OneDrive. This is quite similar. 3D Drive can be accessed by the 3DEXPERIENCE web or as File Explorer interface on the desktop. Access to the 3D Drive can be used exclusively or concurrently by a user's computer or 3DEXPERIENCE on the cloud. 3D Drive is a shareable drive that is best used for singular users. If working with team content, collaborative space and bookmark storage is your best option. One of the benefits of 3D Drive is the ease of sharing content with non-3DEXPERIENCE stakeholders. Let's talk about share and markup. To allow users to share files and stakeholders to comment, the platform administrator must utilize the Enable Shareable link and Enable Comments options located on the Share with External tab in Drive's Control Center. Share and Markup provides users the ability to share their designs with anyone directly from SOLIDWORKS Desktop using the Share a File command on the Lifecycle and Collaboration tab. What's great is the recipient of a file does not require any 3DEXPERIENCE role or SOLIDWORKS license to view, markup, and share comments with the person who shared the design. The Share and Markup functionality works by adding or exporting the currently open design to a 3D folder and allowing that file to be shared externally. The first time the Share a File command is activated, a 3D Drive folder titled Share with External is automatically created in the My Files area of that user's 3D Drive app. 3D XML is the recommended file format for sharing model files. This not only reduces the file size, but will also ensure that the intellectual property of the client's company is protected, as the external user will not have access to the feature or design history. At the time of creation, the 3DEXPERIENCE user can choose to activate guest comments and restrict access to the file to specific users' email addresses. Any email address added will automatically receive an email containing the link to view the file with instructions explaining how to log in. The recipient stakeholder will be offered access to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform and the ability to view, markup, and comment on shared data. With all the design and sharing that is going on, lifecycle and revision management is integral to maintain design data. The 3DEXPERIENCE platform provides a robust mechanism to manage revisions that is easy to set up and maintain. Key features include the selection of alpha or numeric revisions, with control of visibility based on the revision status and maturity. The 3DEXPERIENCE platform allows for primary and secondary revision values. Each new customer 3DEXPERIENCE tenant is set up to use primary revisions by default. The primary value is the main revision of the object that is used at release, and its schema can be set to be alphabetic or numeric. In brief, primary revisions are used for a new major release of an object, whereas secondary revisions could be used for minor updates and new iterations of an object. More often, organizations will function with the primary revision schema. In 3DEXPERIENCE, the lifecycle of SOLIDWORKS components and documents are tracked via a series of maturity states. Each maturity state determines who can have access to the object and what type of actions they can perform on that object. 3DEXPERIENCE provides a pre-configured lifecycle for SOLIDWORKS parts, assemblies, and drawings, consisting of 5 states. Starting at the in-work state, SOLIDWORKS users have the ability to move the lifecycle of each part, assembly, and drawing by promoting it through the series of maturity states. The frozen state acts as a design review stage, pending a review prior to release. From this state, the design can either be promoted to released or demoted back to in-work. The private state allows users to keep design data from being visible to other users, and the obsolete state makes an item unusable for future use. The following are the 4 default access level and context for each collaborative space role. Contributor can view the contents of any collaborative space the user has access to. Can open parts, assemblies, and drawings in SOLIDWORKS as read-only. Cannot revise or change the maturity of any content. Cannot add documents to the collaborative space. Author limited to working with content in private, in-work, and frozen states from any collaborative space the user has access to. Cannot revise, release, or obsolete content. Leader. Revise, release, and make obsolete content from any collaborative space the user has access to. Owner. Administer the collaborative space, for example, add or remove users. With modification of collaborative space attributes can change the maturity state of any content to any other maturity state. May be allowed to modify any object regardless of maturity state. The default engineering definition lifecycle maturity graph will meet the majority of organizations' lifecycle requirements. However, there is the ability for TPM to scope for additional configuration. New transitions between workflow states can be added and existing ones deleted. Additional options like control rules can also be assigned to each transition state and can trigger an automated action. The implementation of 3DEXPERIENCE data management tools, collaborative use of share and markup functionality, and configuration of lifecycle maturity, any organization would benefit from the SOLIDWORKS and 3DEXPERIENCE resources available today. I'm Scott Casale with TPM. Thank you for joining us in this presentation about 3DEXPERIENCE data management and PLM.